Joining us now, family physician and board-certified obesity specialist, Dr. Timothy Quinn. You know this and you deal with it day in, day out. I'm curious if you're seeing more young people, this kid was 16 years old, is 16, dealing with some of these issues as a result of their diet.
Yes, we see a great deal of this. And there are three things that we are very hopeful that will occur because of this conversation and this lawsuit and this increased awareness of this very difficult situation that's hurting so many Americans, especially our children. The first is that the general public will become more aware and make better food choices, which will be very helpful. The second is that the food industry will put more of an emphasis on public health and less on profit. The third is the regulators or policymakers in the United States will have more restrictions as far as to what the food industry can produce and some of these marketing strategies that put a lot of people at a disadvantage, especially children who are more vulnerable.
In your mind, medically speaking, what would you define are the biggest culprits of ultra-processed foods?
The fact that these foods have a lot of synthetic, unnatural ingredients, including color, as far as the color of the food, which can be very enticing, especially to the children, and the taste, which can also lead to addiction in some people, especially our children, because these synthetic, unnatural products can affect our reward systems in our brain. With our children that have developing reward systems, they're even more vulnerable, and some of these children can be addicted, which puts everybody at a disadvantage.
I'm wondering, for a 16-year-old to develop something like type 2 diabetes as a result of their diet, how much sugar and processed food might that person be consuming, or are there other health factors to be considered?
Right. We can't really put a number with how much. It depends on that individual, that person's genetic predisposition, meaning that they might have family members with diabetes and they're more vulnerable. But the take home is the healthier the food, the less of a chance that they will develop diabetes. But we have to continue this conversation to increase, as I said, the education of the community so that we can make more informed decisions and choose the healthier options, which could result in everybody being healthier and this obesity epidemic being decreased and more lives saved.
How accountable, doctor, do you hold the food industry and the companies making these foods?
Well, I had a discussion with some of my colleagues last night about this, and it would be ideal if the food industry would be more accountable. But what's going to be needed are conversations and lawsuits such as this. Not sure they'll win because you have to prove cause and effect, which is going to be very difficult. But the good news is it increases the awareness, the conversation, and we hope the outcome will result in the policymakers having more restrictions on what the food industry can produce and how much they can market,
Yeah.
a lot like what happened with the tobacco industry,
Yeah.
which
And
was
making healthy food more affordable, part of that equation as well. Dr. Quinn, thank you as always.
hey, thank you for having me.
We'll be right back.